when you have a guy like Connor McDavid as your leader, as your best player, which obviously he's the best player by a long shot in the NHL, and he's been that for the last 7-8 years, obviously you could see why a lot of people had the Canadians winning this tournament. But what makes the United States different in this tournament that we have seen and what we are going to see in the next couple of years, because you're going to watch the Olympics, the Winter Olympics, this is just like the coming attractions of what could happen next year for the Olympics. But we're going to see this. I think the NHL is going to bring this back next year because it's been so fun to watch. But I'm going to say this. The Canadian team, as talented as they are, they don't have the goaltending they've had over the years. If you look at it, Martin Brodeur, Carey, they've had good goaltending for many, many years. Now you look at their goaltending. Could they compete with the United States? The United States, who as Ottinger and all these guys, Hollebuck, these guys are great goaltenders. These guys can actually, stand on their heads. And what the United States goaltending has proven in this tournament, really early in this tournament, is it's not going to be easy to put the puck in the net. So you could see the difference. And I'm going to say this. The United States goaltending has always been good. If you remember the World Championships of hockey in the 90s, you had Richter, you had Van Beesbrook, you had Tom Barrasso. When you moved up in the early 2000s, you even had the top-end goaltending. But for Canadians, and when you look at Canada, the Canadian team has always had consistence in the goaltending position. They always did. If you remember in the 80s and the 90s, you had Patrick Roy, you had Martin Brodeur, and it's not the same anymore. And that's what's interesting about the Russian team not competing in this tournament. The Russians by far have the best goaltending in the NHL. It's not even an argument. They do. The 3 best goalies in the NHL are Russian. So, I mean, if the Russians were here in this tournament, maybe it's a different, it's a different look at what could happen at the Olympics next year. But the Canadian team is very, very talented. They're very well coached. John Cooper has been one of the best coaches in the NHL for the last 10 seasons. He's won multiple Stanley Cups. He knows what it takes to win, and he knows how to coach superstar players, because over there in Tampa, I mean, they've had superstar after superstar after superstar, including Steve Yzerman building those teams for many, many years. So, I mean, watching this, and this is what you want to see. Jabba, Speedy, I mean, everybody that's watching the show right now, if you don't want to see fighting with the United States and Canada, then it to me, it doesn't bring out the power of what this competition is really here for. I mean, Gary Bettman brought this into terms for NHL players to compete. The reason why is he wants these guys to go out and play in these All-Star games. He wants them to support international sports and obviously international players. So when you see the United States and these players play for their colors, they're going to play harder. Why? Because they don't want to lose against Canada. They don't want to lose against Sweden. They don't want to lose against Finland. That's why I think this is going to be very exciting moving forward. I think the NHL is going to make this even more interesting as the tournament progressively moves forward if they continue doing this, because I think eventually after, the Putin thing and this gets cleaned up, you're going to see Russia in this tournament. You're going to see the Czech Republic. There's a lot of good Czech Republic players in the country, in hockey. So unfortunately, they only put 4 teams this year, but I'm sure they're going to add country after country, as we've seen, if it works out over this year and it works out next year. The United States team is nowhere close to the talent that obviously Canada is, or even if you look at Finland. I mean, Finland from top to bottom, from the first line to the fourth line, is ridiculous. But it's not always about that. Goaltending wins championships. We've said that many, many times. And right now, in this tournament, the best goaltending is the United States. It's not even an argument. And that's why if we saw Russia in this tournament, it might be different. Because the Russians, they've got a ton of talent with speed and ability and agility, and they've got the best goaltending in the world. They've had the best goaltending in the world forever. Obviously, the Tkachuk brothers are nasty SOBs. They went out there. They wanted to make a statement. They wanted the Canadian fans and they wanted the Canadian nation to know who is boss. They wanted everybody to know that the United States is coming. This is not the same USA team over the years where they were fundamentally fast and very strong offensively, but didn't have those guys that were going to go and stand up for their young players or even some of the veteran players. Matthew Tkachuk has been a leader. We've seen what he did for the Florida Panthers. We've seen what he's done in his career with Calgary. And then Brady Tkachuk is a young guy trying to make a statement. He's one of the better and one of the better offensive players. And what I mean by better, he goes out there and he tries to make ruckus and try to knock people out. This guy is a beast. He reminds me of Brady Tkachuk reminds me more like his father, Keith. When Keith played, Keith was a roughhouse power forward that would go out there, try to take your head off, but also finessely, can move the puck and put the puck in the net, just like his son Brady. I think Matthew is more of a hard-nosed guy, but not like his father, that likes to get in front of the net and likes to tip the puck and cause a lot of ruckus in front of the net. Kind of like a Dino Ciccarelli, a bigger Dino Ciccarelli, if you remember him when he played in the NHL. But it's so interesting when you watch this game. And the one thing is, when you look at the Canadian team, and everybody, when you look at these rosters, you can't pick one or the other and say that both rosters aren't talented. There are sensational rosters.